Right, here we are again, another video on the little racing Metro. I've got the old laptop hooked up at the minute because I want to try and get the cold start a little bit better. As you said in the last video, that wasn't too great, but I forgot to put the battery on charge, so yeah, that's on charge at the minute. But I think in this video, again keeping it quite short and sweet, the things I want to get sorted are relocate this battery light. So I'm thinking about putting it on the dash somewhere, not entirely sure where yet. I think I might actually put it into this little bit here, so drill that out to accept the actual charge light, and then this will then, I've got little clips to clip these in, as you can probably see by that one there, so we can get that next to that one, and then just need to extend the wires all the way through, up and round the back there. And this is why I haven't wrapped any of the wiring at the minute, because if we need to put anything in, you know, in the sense of when it goes mapping and they need an extra sensor in there, or something isn't quite right, we can easily get to it and diagnose it. So once that is all done, then we'll wrap it all up. So that's job number one, is to get this charge light sorted. Job number two is going to be the lambda sensor, NOx sensor, wideband sensor, sorry. So the Bosch LSU 4.9 wideband sensor is to sort the wiring out underneath the car. So we will have to get it onto the ramp to do that, or at least jack it up. Again, I tried to find a little bracket that I could bolt directly to the chassis, but there's a couple of like Volkswagen ones, Audi ones, BMW ones, which will accept that type of sensor plug, but they're just so big and bulky, and yeah, we could probably cut it down. But I think what I'm going to do is probably get some chassis cable tie things to then just drill for the chassis, put these cable tie things in, and then zip tie it to the chassis. And the last thing is to finish up the fire extinguisher. So we need to mount the bottle, need to do the nozzles inside the car, and then redo the nozzles in the engine bay, and then get the pull cords, which are just in the back here. Connect the pull cords, should have one on the inside, one on the outside, but we might need to get a bracket together to mount the one inside. Not sure yet, but yeah, we'll figure that out. And hopefully, if that isn't too long, we might do something else, but if not, I think that will do. So yeah, let's just crack on and get some work done. So that's our little light. I did have a plastic nut somewhere rolling around here. Here it is. It's a little plastic nut. It goes on the back there, but that looked like that's melted already. That seems weird. Question is, I don't think this lock is going to go over the heat shrink that I've put on. Right, I've just cut away at this heat shrink here. I can now get that on and off. Trouble is, melted the plastic. I have got another one of these, so I might just grab the other lighthouse and obviously, because when I've got the ignition on, it then heats it up. Do I do that? Oh, I don't know what to do. Not yet. Okay. Let's clean up a little bit. Fit my mangled lock back in, and that will hopefully sit. Maybe not then. So I can sit on top of that other one, but I might have to sit it underneath. Like there. Right, that is now all done. We've got, whoop, you can focus in, there we go, a little plug on there which is now attached to the body, so that's nice and secure. I've just used a bit of twin core, just gone along the loom and then just round here, and I was going to splice it in to this wire here, these two brown wires, but I thought, oh, I'll just, you know, just put a plug on there and just connect that up with a little thing. Makes it nice and simple. I might put a little, when I do the whole loom, I might put a little bit of braid in this bit of wire here just to tie them two up a bit. But yeah, no, it's looking okay, I guess. You know, it's not it's not a professional motorsport wiring job, but we try and make it as tidy as we possibly can. And as I say, I haven't wrapped any of it yet because obviously just in case we need to do something like this again. But yeah, hopefully we can turn on the ignition and this light, this red light here, should light up. And it does. And then when we start it and it starts charging, that will now go out. But again, I'm still sort of like working on the start map at the minute. But I have actually got two more of these, so we will swap that over. But if I'm doing stuff on the car that requires the ignition on, I can just unplug this. Whoop, unplug that, and then hopefully turn that on, and it doesn't come on. So yeah, we don't really need that on unless we're actually wanting to charge the battery while it's running. So we'll just leave that disconnected for now. I did have a little small LED light to replace that, but when I put the small LED light in, that didn't actually go out until I revved it like over 3,000 or 4,000 RPM, which was bizarre. I guess there just wasn't enough resistance in that LED. And again, I did try and use a resistor, but the resistor got so hot, you know, it's just like touching a red bulb, you know. I didn't want to wrap that up in the loom, and the loom catch fire because it got so hot. So yeah, if we need to replace them little lamp covers every now and again, then you know we will, but I might even run it without a lamp cover on it, just so it's just a white light. But yeah, anyway, next job. Right, so we'll tackle this wideband wiring next. I think I've got a new plug, so we can repin into a new one, but we'll have to put some new pins on the wires because we are going to have to shorten the cable because it's far too long, and hopefully my wideband will work all the time now. Normally this pin on the end, this bottom left hand pin, is normally pushed right out because the lock is broken. But it seems to be okay now. But what I'm going to do is take a photo of the connector underneath, just so I know we get all the pins in the right places again. So underneath here I've got it all coiled up. I'm just going to snip his cable ties out of the way. So that's now free, and hopefully I can unplug this, see how much wire I need, mark it, and then pull this plug through the hole and then make up the loom on the bench, and then hopefully I can drop it all in place, and that should be good enough. Right, so that's my little fly lead all made up now. So we can plug this in and get it connected to the car. So this is what I've come up with. That's just on there, the little chassis thing. Just drilled a hole, 6mm, and then pushed that little, just like a push thing really, and then obviously a cable tie to hold that in place. I've also got this little clip thing that clips around the wire, and then that was just the right size for the anti-roll bar. And then, sorry, we're a bit close, and that just goes up to the floor pan inside the car. So yeah, that's a lot neater situation than what it was. Big old coil of cable hanging down. So yeah, I think we might just need to get a little bit of heat protecting around this wire, around the exhaust. So just get some Funk Motorsport stuff. I think that'll just wrap around there and just keep that nice and cool. Right, so I guess the next thing is going to be, do it actually work? I've got that switched on at the minute. I'll just reset it. And it's come up with Lambert invalid at the minute, or not valid, but we've got some voltage going on. So yeah, let's try and start it and see what happens. That might come back into life. So we've got it heating up now. So I guess that'll only be valid when it's warmed up. I don't really know too much about this sort of stuff. Oh, there we go. That's now working. It's showing how much that's trying to, or how rich it is, I think, isn't it? Ignition, fuel. So we should be able to pull just pull some of that out, just highlight it and just minus it. Look, you can see it's now starting to, oh, it's gone the other way now. Oh, so we can see it doing its thing now, but it's just like, I'm pretty sure that should self-correct, but we've got a Lambert target of like 1 here. But again, I don't really know is the honest answer. So again, I haven't played around with this stuff too much, in the sense of aftermarket stuff. So I think if we just put that back to what it was and then just highlight the whole table, and then just bring that down, restart. It's not going to start now. There we go. But it's now showing that this is, as soon as I give it any sort of throttle, it just dies. now where it was, and it seems happy. If we go into wideband, that's showing us valid, but we can see we're still like in the 0.8s here. It dies. Hopefully it's warm back up again and then that become valid again. I keep thinking about doing one of these online courses like HP Academy or whatever it is, or Evans Academy, and just trying to learn on this, but it's like a couple £100. But now we're saying the Lambo's valid, we can see what it's doing, but the thing is, if I take the fuel out to bring that up to Lambo 1 or 14 AFR, then it just, there's no response to the engine whatsoever. But at least it's working anyway. I guess the tuner will sort that out for me. But yeah, again, I don't know. Yeah. Again, problem for the tuner, I think. Right, so yeah, again, we've got it working now, so that's the main thing really, wasn't it? It's just to make sure that's all working, ready for the tuner, because at the end of the day, nothing's more frustrating than taking the car somewhere and they can't do it because of this, that, whatever. So again, let's spin you around. Take a little bit of the list off, so wideband sensor wiring can come off now, and the relocate the battery light. So yeah, we're getting there slowly. It's a few jobs off the list. So yeah, the next thing that I probably want to do is sort the fire extinguisher out, but I do need to we'll put the outdated fire extinguisher back in, and then that gives us a reference to the cables and where we need to put the cables in, and then I'm gonna get rid of the nozzles here, and then we're gonna redo them nozzles to hopefully make it a bit better anyway. Right, I thought I'd start off with the engine bay first, because that's something that I've sort of started, if that makes sense. So let's finish off the engine bay before going inside. Now I've already taken the old brackets off, just drilled out the rivets, and I've actually already mounted the nozzle and got the pipe ran to the bulkhead connector. These are the things that I use. Get them off eBay. They are, I think if you just type in FIA or MSA fire extinguisher nozzle bracket, then these will come up. They're quite expensive, they're about £5 each, but they are really good quality, zinc coated. You can bend them, drill into them. I think they're made out of steel, but yeah, no, these are really good. These are the ones I've used on my MGF race car. I did try and get some aluminium ones. Have I got one to hand? No, because I've chucked them, which were the ones previously fitted to this car, but I just couldn't get them to work properly, and you can't really manipulate them as much as what you can these. So I've left this one in here because this one's nice and tight. Pipe that goes around here, this is going to be spraying onto the exhaust manifold, so if there's any oily fires, then hopefully that will extinguish it, and also the alternator's down there. And it's a case of just trying to cover the entire engine bay in foam, I guess it is, inside. But yeah, we've got this pipe that runs down here. I've tried to follow the contour of the chassis leg, and eventually I will cable tie the wire into that. And then we've got this nozzle here, which then sprays onto like this part of the engine, inlet manifold, injector area. And then this one here, I'm not really too sure where to put this yet. I was thinking about onto here, and then obviously put a nice little bend in there to like spray it again into the intake manifold, and around this electrical, and obviously we'll have an air box in here. But I just feel like it's a little bit too close, so I might go on to this previous bolt here, and again bend it so it's like points towards the engine basically. So yeah, it could come off this one actually. Yeah, not really too sure yet. I'm going to figure that out. Again, this looks a little bit janky around here. It's not as neat as that what I would want it to be, but I have got to clear this bonnet hinge. Again, you have to run bonnet hinges, and you have to run the standard steel bonnet, unfortunately. And I needed to obviously point it in a direction where it's going to pass the cooling system and the braking system and actually go on to the inlet manifold as such. We could have probably just come straight off here and then directly into here, but again, I want to try and get that great old fan over into the engine bay, shall we say. So yeah, let me bend this up, and we'll again go from there really. The only other thing is that I wanted to mention really, again, the pipe runs along here. Again, that's the neatest possible way I could think of doing it, and I've spaced it out from the actual body itself, because again, we've got a wiper motor under here, and I believe that when I had the wipers on to begin with, and with the other brackets, that did catch it. So I haven't put the wipers on yet, but hopefully that will clear this pipe here. But yeah, anyway, enough talking. Let's get this bracket on, this final bracket on the engine bay, and then go from there. let's fit this old extinguisher. Now this is the one out of the MGF race car. They're both out of date. Well, the other one is out of date at the end of the year basically. So they both need to be done, but there's no point doing them until the beginning of the season. Because if not, you're just wasting your money. So we'll get this one in. Right, so it comes out of here, goes up into here, and then it goes into this T-piece which I'm using for the internal fire suppression, and then it goes up into the bulkhead connector, up into the engine bay. So I'm thinking that we'll use these two riv nuts here, make some brackets up. One will hopefully go towards the electrical system here, and the other one will probably be going just in this general area here. So this is what I've come up with. A couple of brackets on them little riv nuts, and then it's just piped into that little T-piece there. Yeah, so we've got one nozzle that's sort of spraying around this area, and then another nozzle spraying around the feet, because if the engine was to catch fire and come through the firewall, then you know it's going to get my feet first, isn't it? So they say to try and aim the nozzles at points of ignition, so that's what I've tried to do, and also trying to protect myself as well. So right, that's the plumbing done. Let's get on and get the cables in. The front one outside is going to be relatively easy, but it's this one inside that I'm going to have to come up with something, maybe a little bracket or something, to decide where we're going to put it. Right, I've got the pull cord mounted where the original hole was. Now, me being me, didn't really think too much, but as you can see, I've had to bend the panel, because when you open and close the bonnet, it catches it just now after I've bent it. But I think I'm going to have to put a little sticker on the bonnet somewhere to say be careful when opening bonnet due to fire extinguisher. So I'm either going to have to make sure that the pin is in, or again just being careful. But it's going to be one of them things where you're going to get to the track here, you're going to open the bonnet up, catch that, and it's going to pull the fire extinguisher out. But anyway, just need to do some tweaking there. Just got a little grommet in there, push the cable through, and now we are through the car with the cable. I just ran it down the side here, and then obviously just need to mark that, pull the inner wire part of the cable out, cut this, put this in with this little nipple thing, and then we can cut the main cable to length then. Right, so I've just chucked some ACF 50 down the cable, and then at the end where the red handle is, I've just packed it out with some grease really to make it a bit of a watertight situation. Yeah, that go down there like that. Get this little nipple thing in there. Make sure you give yourself plenty of excess just in case. And what I like to do is just get a little bit of heat shrink on the end of there, just to stop that from fraying. If we need to do anything with it, then we've got a little bit of excess to play with. Right, almost an hour later, I've come up with a cunning plan. So I've made this little aluminium bracket, used a bit of cardboard as a template. Who knew that Coca-Cola did CAD software, but there we go. Picked up from an original seat belt mount, and I've got a couple of rivet nuts in here, and obviously the cable goes through, and we've got a bit of an area where we can stick the sticker as well. So hopefully we can just slot that in place, if that fits. This is where I've drilled the hole wrong, because it now there's a little indent in here. I tried to put the cable through there, but yeah. Anyway, I need 2 hands for this, so let's stick you down and let's screw this in place. Right, what do you think of that then? Didn't come out too bad, to be honest with you, did it? I don't think so anyway. Just enough clearance down there. As I tried to aim for that little mount bit there. I don't think I quite got my angles right, in the sense of this sort of like sits a little bit down on the left hand side, but again, we can stick our sticker on here, we can give it a good old yank to activate the fire extinguisher. That's in distance of the drive as well, so yeah, we'll just terminate the cable like we did the other one, and that should be job done. Right, so I think that's as far as we're going to go today. Obviously all the fire extinguisher, it's all now plumbed in, ready to go. We will obviously have to take it out and have it serviced, but I'll do that closer to the time, so we know that we've got a full 2 years rather than doing it now and we'll only have 18 months or so. So yeah, I think the only thing that I might readdress is the location of this. It's just a bit too close to the bonnet, and if you lift the bonnet up and pull that up, it's going to set the fire extinguisher off, which wouldn't be ideal. So I might move it just like around about this area. The only trouble is getting to the back of it with a spanner, and to do that nut up is a bit difficult. But yeah, I think I'll probably do that when I take the fire extinguisher out and take the cables back out again, because we have to disconnect the cables at the fire extinguisher end to obviously remove it. So when I do that, I might move that here just in case drilling the hole and obviously poking it all back through again. Again, bit of a nuisance. I did want to reuse the old hole just to cover it up basically, but yeah, it's what it is at the end of the day. So yeah, we've done a couple of jobs today. Obviously done the alternator charge light, got the O2 band wiring redone and all working, and we've got our fire extinguisher fully plumbed in. So hopefully it won't leave us too much left on the list to do. So yeah, we'll probably just crack on and do a couple of the other little bits and pieces. So the wiper arms, the bonnet pins, the tow eyes, the air box and the footrest plate, and that is pretty much it in the sense of getting this to a point where it can go away, have the harness bar done and have all the mapping stuff done as well. Right, hope you enjoyed this video. Everything turned out pretty much perfect apart from that fire extinguisher handle, which we'll readdress. But yeah, if you enjoyed it, obviously hit the like button, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and we'll see you in the next video.